So what's your name? What got you into disc dyeing, and how long have you been doing it?
All right, my name is Brandon Brewer. It was actually a freak accident that got me into dyeing. I started disc golfing about 3 years ago, and about 6 months in, fell in love with the sport. And then I injured my back, and it took me out for almost a full year.
Okay.
And during that time, I really wanted to remain part of the community, and it was the only thing that I could actually continue to do to really be part of that. So I just started picking up from my old past of art and really took hold of it. So.
Nice. All right, what is your favorite technique, and what sets your disc apart from other people's discs?
My favorite technique is going to be your cell beds. I love them. They're random. You can rarely ever duplicate anything like it. And it's a Floetrol bed. I use 100% Floetrol.
Okay.
Very simple, very little mixing.
Yeah.
And it's more about just the technique and the patience.
Okay. Well, let's get right into it, man. You can just kind of start showing me your technique
right.
and what we do.
All right, first things first, you're just going to start off with enough plain white Floetrol in the bottom of the bed pan there.
Okay.
And you're just going to dump it in. Bubbles don't really matter right now because you kind of want the bubbles.
Yeah.
Because as the bubbles are going to work and pop and break open, it's going to leave void spaces and things are actually going to fill it in. So.
Okay.
Now the way I do this actually, what we're doing in the bed at first is not going to look anything like this.
Okay.
Okay, so we're starting because what you want is just layers on layers on layers of color.
Okay.
And you want to have as much negative space in between them as possible.
Okay.
So I call it my crazy string method.
Okay.
And it's just taking one color at a time,
Yep.
going through as many colors as you want.
Okay.
I've done every single color before, and they all work. Red, blue, yellow, and pink we have here.
Okay.
These colors are the exact colors that made both of these discs.
Okay.
So they blend together, they make all the other colors.
Nice.
It's really awesome. So
Okay.
simple as this, we're just going to start and we're just going to do lines. You can do them any way you want. You can squiggly them, you can just lay them in straight like I'm doing. You're just going to go like that, then you're going to move on to the next color. I separate the pink and the red, put a color in between them just to keep that kind of. You can almost see where the bubbles are popping, and it's even already starting to,
Yeah.
even the one color is trying to sell.
Cool.
So I'm just going to keep going. And the faster you go, the skinnier the lines are going to be.
Yeah.
Slower you go, the thicker they're going to be.
Okay.
And you're just going to keep layering. That's all we're doing. Just layering, layering, layering. I do about 4, 5, 6 layers if you want. 3 or 4 really doesn't matter. Just keep layering it. Just like that. Oops, got a little chunk there. And then repeat. Same color pattern right around in a circle.
Cool.
And then you're just going to keep doing that just over and over again, about, like I said, 3, 4 layers.
Okay, and that's like 4 layers here for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Perfect technique.
Cool. And tell me a little bit about Floetrol while I'm doing this.
All right, so when I started with glue beds. It was an accident. I ran out of the lotion that I was trying my first couple dye experiments ever.
Okay.
And my wife is a teacher.
Yeah.
She had a couple gallons of white school glue,
Okay.
so I picked it up and put it in the pan. And I was using RIT Dymore at that time. Pro Chemical and Dye now stepped in with this stuff, and I've never looked back. They got the UV colors and stuff now, so I don't even have to use worm dip. I used to have a mixture of different kinds.
Yeah.
Now everything I use is just the Pro Chem because it all reacts the same. It eliminates the variables of the different kinds of acetones and other things that are involved in it.
Okay.
So the stability, it stays very well in the Floetrol. The mix is the same exact thing as the bed. It's just Floetrol, dye, and a tiny bit of water to dissolve the dye before you put the Floetrol.
Okay.
All right. And then that looks great.
Cool, man.
And then I'd do one more layer. You can cross hatch it if you want, go the opposite direction. I mean, anything you want with it. Just, that's the best part because you never really know what it's going to end up doing. No, thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Just like that. Okay, so now here's the tricky part. What we're doing here is you can gladly put a disc in that. I mean, that looks cool.
Sure.
You know, so you could gladly put a disc in that, let it set, and then wait for the next bed because that's the cell bed.
Right.
The next bed is the one that's going to pull up and it's going to do it. All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
There are ways to do it. I don't have saran wrap here. If you don't have a disc, pull one out of your bag. You're going to rinse it immediately, so
Okay.
it's not going to dye it. But
Sure.
you're going to use this as a burner disc to basically wipe through this top thing that you
Gotcha.
just made. So
Okay.
you're going to ruin that. So if you don't want that, you know, that's fine. But if you're wanting that, obviously put it on your disc and wait for it. But
Okay.
to speed things up and just show you to get to the cell bed,
Okay.
I'm going to use this one as a burner.
Okay.
So you're just going to drop it in, just like you were dropping a normal bed, roll it in a little bit from the side, just like you were placing a bed to be sat for the night.
Okay.
All right, it's in there. Now what you do, grab something to dispose of this because it's going to be messy.
Okay.
You pull this out.
Okay. Well, that's cool too.
Then with that being pulled out, this is where the cells are going to just start popping open.
Okay. And then so I'm gonna try to do that. This is your
Yep.
disc, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then you have something for me to put it in.
Yep, right here.
So there we go. And just pull
Yep.
it straight up.
Yep, pull it straight up. Now drop it right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Then you're just going to sit and,
Oh, wow.
like I said, patience. Now you let the medium do its work.
Okay.
Basically, it's going to lava lamp up. Different cells are going to pop up.
Yep.
And again, you know, as you go through it and you learn, you start doing different ratios because some colors can be a little bit more vibrant, a little bit brighter than others, or overpower some other ones. Again, we use both a pink and a red, so I wanted that kind of pinkish red hue in the dyes. You know, depending on what color
It's cool to
disc.
see the difference also between just you did a smaller layer, you were kind of getting the bigger cells.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. So
And then, so do you do anything heat with this, or is that it?
you can.
Okay.
You could torch it. You can torch. It will pop out and play with cells. There is no acetone or anything flammable in this,
Okay.
so it is a lot more of a safe method. Again, another reason why I started doing this. But yeah, so with your bed, the best part about the Floetrol and doing it in this method is because when you're doing any kind of glue bed and you're only getting one disc out of one bed with all your materials,
Sure.
your cost and time is just not worth it.
Okay.
It's got to be that. So with these, this was a third generation,
Okay.
left for 12 hours, no heat. When this was pulled, this was placed in the exact same leftover bed,
Right.
and this one was left for 24 without heat.
How
So
many
you
can
can
do on one?
you can
one
see.
bed?
I've gone as much as 11.
Oh, okay.
So right now, one way to preserve it and make it an actual assembly line type process, we would have 10 white discs here ready to be dyed.
Sure.
Okay? And what we would do is we would have 10 blank disc beds full of Floetrol.
Sure.
Just like our initial bed, full, right? So when you ended up pulling that disc and you put it down in that bed to get it washed,
Yeah.
you would actually put it face down in Floetrol,
Okay.
and it would just stay there. So you could make and pull out, and go through all your beds, and then let them all rest for the same 24 hours.
Nice. Okay.
As opposed to having to put one in, wait 24,
Yeah.
put one in, wait 24, put
Sure.
one. Then you're doing work every single day. You could pop 10 of them out in a 24-hour period from the same bed, no problem, and that
awesome.
just lowers the overhead so much and really makes it feasible to play around with this kind of medium because Floetrol is expensive.
How much is a bottle of Floetrol?
For the gallons, I want to say it's about $16
Okay.
for a gallon. If you were to do one bed at a time, we would get about 6 of these beds,
Okay.
6 of the base beds out of it.
Nice.
You know, so again, if you were wasting it every time, that's 6 instead of 60.
Right.
You know, so
How long does it sit before we apply? Are we ready to put another?
as
disc
long
in?
as you want. Yep,
Okay.
I was gonna say the longer you wait, the more it's gonna play. But again, as soon as you like what it looks, put a disc in.
Okay.
Or, like you said, if you want, you can add heat, pop the cells. That'll also play around with it a little bit because it'll shrink and contract and
Is
kind of
this
do
also
things.
something like we did with the lotion beds? I kind of shifted it. And
You
it
can
made
do anything you want
And
with
it
it
made
now.
it a kind of. I might. Just,
Or draw through it. I mean, at this point, that's yours. You can. This is where the
okay,
creative
so the
part comes in.
Floetrol actually kind of flows a little bit more though, so it's not going to get that nice.
It's not going to get you
Not
as
gonna
clean
hold
a.
that Spiral. Ooh. Okay, I'm leaving it.
Yeah. But that's the best part about the art, you know. It's really just whatever it is that you want to do. There's no wrong answer.
And then we just lay it down just kind of like the other one?
Just like that. You're just going to roll it down. I put a little edge in and then just kind of roll it slow. Just like that. Once it touches the surface of the disc, it's really stationary for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless you're really pushing it, bottoming it out or something, you know, or there's something under there that's rubbing against it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I've done clear discs, which is a little bit tougher. This method doesn't really apply to clear discs quite as well.
Yeah.
Some plastics are great for it, but I have a problem with some. But I've tested them before, you know, just putting them in there because I wanted to measure the integrity of the cells.
Sure.
So I put it in, I wanted to see how many days could I leave it in there without any of this breaking down or changing.
Sure.
The answer was 4 days. After that, everything kind of just washed out, I guess, kind of just got a little cloudy.
Cool.
But also did an experiment, again, where I twisted it, just like that.
Sure.
And looking through the clear disc, you can see the pattern,
Yeah.
and nothing changed on that pattern.
Interesting.
Nothing changed. So even so, with the results of this one, you'll actually be able to see when I just twisted it that it probably, you know, it won't show. And if it does, it'll be on that just that very outside edge where it's curving up a little bit.
Okay.
So, and then you leave that 24 hours to get this. If you like the pastel-y, lighter, you know, amount, 12 hours is good on cold.
Cool.
And both UV reactive.
Awesome, man. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Thanks for showing us everything. And we're
There we go. You can already see this making its next layer. There's your nice quick pastel-y.
nice.
For the pastels, I go half the amount of time I do for
the dark.
Full dark on.
Yeah, that looks, I mean, like the one you set for with no heat for that long, so that worked out.
Get the edges, get the bottom.
And so with the Floetrol, it seems to rinse off pretty clean and
Very simple.
yeah.
Yep.
That is awesome, guys. That's the first cell bed. Getting there and seeing all those pastel cells popping is pretty sweet. All right, man. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, man.
It was great. I'm going to go reuse your next bed.
Okay. Awesome.